Okay. Before we get out of here and take a lunch break, those are the only speakers I had noted. I want to take a look, if you would please, the staff memo on item 7C, page 3. It's a recommendation for action, but I want to propose a change. Number one, you had suggested direct staff to continue Delta coordination activities consistent with its budget and staff capacity. I didn't have any idea what you're talking about by that sentence, so let me rewrite it. Council directs DSC staff to prepare the next version of the near-term actions consistent with comments received from council members. That would be my recommendation of what a first sentence would be. And then number two, I suppose I'd edit it to throw in what Randy's requesting, which was staff report to the council on how these strategies and existing activities of appropriate agencies are being used currently in the Delta. I mean, I just didn't understand the two sentences very well.
Mr. Chair, is it anticipated then we're going to have this back for the December meeting then?
Yes.
Actually to finalize then?
Well, I got just from my point of view, I'm puzzled where to go with this that would be productive, given the other things that we're working on now. Our hope was to catch kind of the lightning in the bottle of these two different initiatives coming forward and saying, hey, there's some near-term opportunities. And the reason we had the opportunity to catch it is because while the Delta plan was not actively before the council, in these 3 months, we had a little bit of staff time to work on this. What you asked us to bring back together is quite a bit of work that we have maybe about 2.5 weeks of staff time to do. And once the December meeting goes, of course, we'll be back into receiving comments on the Delta plan, dealing with the BDCP, accelerating work on the science program. And so I'm not sure that I have a
that's fine. That's fine. Mr. Fiorina and I will prepare a draft for council action at the December meeting. We'll call on you for information that's necessary, but we'll prepare the draft.
When you say that's fine, Phil,
well, I mean, look, this is
accepting this?
This is no. I'm very impatient on near-term actions. We've been talking about it on and off for 2 years. I'm with Randy. I don't think this is a complicated outline to receive. If you're not able to do it, Randy and I will do the draft. You can provide the information, and we'll have it available for the December meeting.
Mr. Chair, I think he was pointing out some limitations. I didn't hear him say he wouldn't do it. I certainly was some reticence, and I think that, again, if history's any indicator on this, I think staff will take good direction. If we ask for this, to do it. I mean, if you and Randy want to take a stab at it, that's fine. I think our staff is capable. I guess I would just say that we have to be realistic, though, in what we direct them to do, because I think that's what Dan was pointing out. I'm not coming to his defense because I'm as interested in this as the rest of us, but I do think that if you look at holiday periods and everything else, that it's the same thing when we talk about public interaction, that it becomes limiting for us, and that they're not miracle workers. On the other hand, I would hope that if we say you're going to be here back in December with the requested work product, we give you that direction, that you'll do your best to do that. And
maybe we can be clearer in terms of what we're asking for. But I have to know, how long did it take you to come up with what you've come up with here? How many man hours, Carl?
There were several people who worked on it.
How long?
2 days for the group, and then I spent probably most of a week on it.
So, week and a half?
About that, yeah, in terms of hours.
So that would be 60 hours, 60 man hours to come up with this?
About that, yeah.
Okay. Carl, does that include the time your staff's been talking with the agencies to understand the actions that are behind these dog strategies?
No, that would just include the preparation of this staff report.
Well,
So-
what we're asking for now is more detail on this. We're not asking for precision. We're asking for a better idea, a little more color, so that we can understand it better. And what I'm talking about is what I said before. You know, you've got this 8 projects. How long is it going to take? What are the key activities? And what's it going to cost? Now, these are estimates. You don't have to go around and take a poll, or bring in experts. You're the experts. Give us your appreciation of what it is, and that will help us understand what it is you're going to do and the economic impact of that.
Could I ask?
I would think that, and again, I don't know,
Okay.
but I would think that maybe another half a week, maybe another 20 hours of time, and that would be to put it down, to discuss it, to fine-tune it, and all the rest of that.
Can I ask a point of clarification? Are we looking for a comprehensive list of projects that are being undertaken?
Randy?
Chris, I'll direct the comments to you. I'm sensitive to the amount of work that the staff's been required to do in developing the plan, and now we're moving on into implementation, and it's a whole other set of work products. But I think as we look towards convening the implementation committee, it's going to happen, if our schedule holds up, as staff has recommended, before the plan is adopted. So what do we have to talk about? We have the existing activities that are underway and those that agencies have already planned. That's going to be the focal point of at least the first couple of rounds of meetings with the implementation committee. So I think what we're asking for is give us an idea of what's going on out there. And then let's see how it fits into what we believe meets the co-equal goals, and help us to understand how the council can perform its role of coordination and synthesizing to the highest degree possible. What we're asking for is not a product in isolation from everything else. It's a key component to beginning the work of the implementation committee. Does that help explain what we're asking for in terms of current activities and proposed activities?
I think so,
Okay.
yeah.
And
I think what we're asking for, this is fine in concept, but it's not actionable from my standpoint. Give us more detail.
Can I ask for clarification? I think staff has done a great job meeting all the deadlines and providing information. I think we should ask Chris, is that something that staff can get done?
Well, yes,
That's all
is the
we-
answer to your question
Right.
directly.
Yes.
But going back to Mr. Nordoff's point, an actionable item, could you say more about what you're thinking of?
I hate to be redundant and repetitive. I'm looking for some more
I
color.
apologize.
You've given us, a concept. You want to strengthen levees in areas where it's important for the water flow and where they need it. Great. No one's going to argue with that. How long is it going to take? Where are you going to start? Who's going to be responsible? Again, we recognize that nobody's perfect. You may say it's going to take 2 years. It's going to cost $20 million. It could be a lot more than that. We're used to that. But this is a work in process. You've given us the concept. Put a little more meat on the bones. And as we go forward, we'll learn more and more. And I think you can do that.
Yeah.
I think you can do it without sacrificing time spent on other deserving projects. I know you can. If you want me to get involved, go around.
Maybe they can give the council the job. So we've got 3 already volunteering. So.
yeah, this is great.
And have it to you by December, whatever that date is, huh?
I don't think they want me involved.
Well,
For the record, I didn't volunteer.
as far as I can tell, we have a staff recommendation in the memo that tells them to go ahead and do coordination activities consistent with the budget and staff capacity in November and December. I have suggested prepare for the next meeting a revised version of the near-term action proposal, taking into account the members' comments received at this meeting. I'm prepared to go to a vote on both of those if you want. I'm prepared. Let's get a motion on the staff recommendation first. Is there a motion on the staff as written recommendation in the memo?
So moved.
So, Ms. Gray, is there a second?
Second.
All right. I move a substitute amendment to make the language, council directs staff to prepare for the next meeting a revised version of the near-term action plan per the previous members' comments and observations during this meeting. Hank.
May I add something?
Yes, sir.
The criteria you have are good in their beginning, but may I ask that you think about adding others, additional criteria?
Question on the motion. It hasn't received a second yet, but it's a little bit confusing here. Again, I thought we were going direction. I didn't have any problems with what you put forth, Mr. Chair. I think the challenge would be then do it by December, and that was what Dan was speaking to. I think Chris asked that question a moment ago to get understanding. He said, yes, he thought they could achieve that. So before we get a bunch of motions that are competing here, I'm prepared to go down the road that you suggested, but I just must be realistic about the time frame. And if it can be done and is clearly understood by staff what it is this council is asking for, there shouldn't be a problem on getting all of us to support that motion. I mean, we can go through votes on motions, but I don't disagree with staff right forward. I think the refinement was what you added, so I'm prepared to support what you're putting on. But let's know what it is we're asking and what the expectation is of staff and our executive director, and whether it's deliverable is the December meeting or not.
Why don't we do this? Why don't we take a lunch break? We'll come back. We'll start with a motion. You guys can work it out over the lunch. Okay? All right. Members, 45 minutes?
Okay.
Want to do 40? All right. 2 o'clock. 2 o'clock. 2 o'clock. 2 o'clock.